around, so there's really no info at the moment.
But is there a concern about a major injury at this point, or?
I have not heard of a concern with that. I just saw him walk in the locker room, so I really don't have information until there's further testing that goes on.
Just what did you see from your team, especially being able to push through in overtime after you lose him?
Yeah, I mean, it's a number of things. I mean, that showed a lot of resiliency from our team in a number of ways. Especially with Beal, when he makes that shot, he made a tough shot, and we really pulled together in a way, and then without Cat as well, in a way that you can look to and you can say, okay, we're building something, and with guys staying together with things. And then I also, I think one thing that did make a difference, even with the snow and everything, like our fans were great tonight, and our fans really helped, and that's a big reason we've won 5 in a row at home. The fans really helped pull those guys through, especially, and guys were able to step up.
How about Derrick Rose in particular, just what he was able to give you, maybe extending his minutes just a little bit to try and get through?
It was, and we communicated, so I'll obviously see how he feels tomorrow, but when Cat went down, you're in the heat of the game, you got to try to find a way to scratch one out, and we were all on board with that, and he was huge.
Queta gets his first NBA start tonight. Just what did you think about his performance?
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of good things. And I mean, playing 36 minutes too, and guarding, an All-NBA player, All-Star in Beal for a good portion of the game. He did a nice job with that, and getting 12 points, and he was active. And he really did try to play within himself.
You had Cam, KDB, and Tolliver out there at the same time for quite a stretch. And they were getting stops. Some of them were missed open looks, but it did seem like their defense picked up. What was it that they were doing that the other guys in the game hadn't been doing up at that point, do you think?
Yeah, and that was kind of something we talked about at halftime. We needed, obviously we had a poor defensive first half, and then the second half, I think with about 40 seconds left in the game, we had held them to about 43 points in the second half. Don't quote me on that number, because I know it's around there though. But the thing that those guys were doing is they were talking, they were using their length, and they were active. And we were searching for something, and I spoke on it earlier. That was one of the reasons Anthony finished the game. He was active, and he did a nice job defensively.
Ryan, is it almost kind of bizarre when you're coaching Derrick in those end of game situations, or just in general? It kind of seems more comfortable just to isolate without a screen.
Yeah.
Is that harder for you and for the other guys to kind of do?
It is sometimes, but we also, using a screen, especially for the team that was switching, we used a screen to try to get a favorable matchup for him. So it goes both ways.
What type of confidence do you have to have in Queta to be able to play him 37 minutes in essentially the entire fourth quarter and overtime?
I mean, I have confidence in all our guys, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I know it sounds, it might sound like a broken record, but I do. I have confidence in all these guys because you see how they work on a daily basis, and you see how they're vested in this and how they support their teammates. But to start 2 rookies and one, in Queta playing 36 minutes and playing formidable minutes down the stretch. You do have to have confidence in him, but it's more about how he is a cerebral player, like he's smart, and that always gives coaches, and that should give people more confidence in a guy like that.
What does it say about his maturity level? And he didn't look like he was panicking. He looked like he belonged out there playing all those minutes in such a close game.
Yeah, he's mature, probably beyond his age, and it's just his daily approach. He has a very he's got a good sense of humor, when you're around him, but he has a very workmanlike approach when he comes into the gym. It's, on the court, he's ready to just get to work, get his work in, and he's always looking to try to improve. And seeing that, and I actually, in my assistant role for half the year, I was with Queta. Queta was one of the guys that I worked with, and I was able to be around him and see how he really did ask the right questions, and just have that approach, which in turn does give you more confidence in a guy like that.
Derrick went a little bit more than 30 minutes tonight. Can you play him tomorrow night on the back-to-back?
Yeah, that's something we'll talk about. But he did go a little more, and obviously I acknowledge I wanted to keep him at a few minutes less than that. But when you're scratching and clawing for a win. And then, you know, you got a guy in Karl who's a 40 and 16 guy. He goes out. You got to communicate and try to find a way to get a win. And Derek was great for us.
Any update on Wiggins?
Wiggins, he'll be evaluated tomorrow.